Thank you. I forgot I muted myself. Thank you so much. What would you like me to call you, by the way? And so my channel is generally, I do productivity sprints normally, which are basically will work for like 20 minutes. Sometimes I'm unmuted, sometimes I'm muted, and then we'll chat for like 5-10 minutes sometimes. And then we just go through like that. Today, I don't want to, is it Fahad? Or, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I'm so sorry. So thank you for telling me that I was muted. Sometimes I forget that it's muted when I'm doing things. It's okay. Okay. I feel bad when I say people's names wrong. Today, so that's what I normally do. Sometimes I write. I write urban fantasy. In fact, I now have 2 things up on Kindlevella. Today I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to attempt to record the second episode of my podcast live. I'm very nervous about this because I'm really bad at self-promotion, and I sort of kind of accidentally started the podcast when I started it because I had been thinking about starting a podcast, but I hadn't fully decided yet. So there's that. And I feel like, because I like live streaming, and it's something I'm used to. Podcasting is very new to me, because this would only be the second episode. The first episode, like I said, was semi an accident. And the podcast is called KatChats. It's got this adorable logo right here. And in fact, Nightbot is on top of things for me already. So the podcast it talks about my writing journey, where I'm at now and like the beginning of it. And so this episode that I want to record today is the beginning of it, and that is my fanfic start. So hopefully doing it on a live stream will make me slightly less nervous, which if you haven't noticed is not working. So I'm gonna drink some of this coffee. The first episode went over like the very broad spectrum of my writing journey. It didn't go into like the details. It gave more of a quick overview. Whereas the episode I'm going to do today is going to be like more focused. So after I get like some introductions and stuff out of the way is when I'll start. But first I want to, of course, interact with the chat. So what made me start writing was I always really liked creating and playing pretend, and creating stories. I was obsessed with Barbies as a child, like many girls. And I loved to create different stories using the Barbies and the little Polly Pockets and like all the little dolls. And then I liked to like mentally create stories when I got into Sims, like with my characters. Like I didn't record anything or like speak about it. I just was like, yes, this is the story of these Sims. This is what they're doing. And I just kept creating ideas for stories or like fanfics. Like stuff would like but it wouldn't leave my head. And so I had to write it down. And writing it down helped me to start being like, oh, I enjoyed this part of it. I thought I just enjoyed the creating of the things in my brain, and seeing where those went. But I actually also enjoyed the writing of things down. So that's kind of what made me start writing, in that sense. Once I have my phone ready, because I've never recorded the podcast live. So I'm going to try and get the audio from this, and I'm also going to just try and also record it from my phone. So some things, there might be weird pauses. So there's that. So let's see how this goes. I also want to have open. No, that's not the thing I want open. To reference, I want to have. You're a writer too. Well, welcome. Have you found productivity sprints before? Have you heard of them? Never. So there's actually slowly coming to Twitch for it is productivity sprints. But on YouTube there's like a thing called AuthorTube, and a lot of people do the productivity sprints. Which is how I actually initially, I was like, I really want to do that. Because it's kind of like the Pomodoro method, but you kind of pick the length of your sprints the host does. Sometimes the chat helps decide. I personally, when I do productivity sprints, do I have it up here? I do. I like to use this deck of cards, and so that way not every sprint is the same length. I do 1 through 10 are their number, and then jacks, kings, queens I do are 10 minutes each. Sometimes the ace is 10, sometimes it's 1, depending. And then jokers are automatic 15-minute sprint, and then there's a card that is actually the back of the card but on both sides, so that one's an automatic 20-minute sprint. And so those are just designated times for work, which is really nice, because especially when you're doing it with other people through live streams, you know that you are not the only person working, and we consider, many people, not everyone, considers like self-care is also productivity. So some people, and it doesn't have to be writing either, a lot of people can just join in. So some people will like clean for the 20-minute sprint and then just hang out and chat for the 5, 10, whatever minutes of chat time. So some people will like clean, some people will cook, some people like they'll do life sprints, or they'll write, edit, do art. It's a bunch of different stuff that you can do, and it's really nice to be working with people but not working with people, if that makes sense. It's like a weird semi-holding people accountable thing. Why I really enjoy hosting productivity sprints is because it makes me feel more accountable, that during the sprints I need to be working. But right now we're not doing sprints because I'm gonna attempt this podcasty thing. And at like 15 minutes, I will start the thing. Hopefully I will have all the things open then. Because I'm talking about fanfic, I want to have like my accounts open that I had for fanfiction. So yeah, so there will be moments where I'll be looking at the chat, but I might not be responding, and then like that'll be when I'm recording specific sections, I guess. And then I will be doing sections where I'm not recording. Hi, Q. How are you? Let us know. Depending, I've been really busy because I also have a job. I haven't gotten very many words. Sometimes I don't get very many. Sometimes I get like in the 200 range, and sometimes I get like 1,000 or like 2,000 words. There is a challenge, the 10K in a day challenge, where some people try and write 10,000 words in a 24-hour time period, and they are insane, but they achieve it. And it is wild to me. My hands would hurt so much. Like, my wrists would not like me for that. But it kind of varies. It also depends on what I'm working on. Sometimes I end up doing things like I'll try and edit some stuff, and it's harder to count the words when you edit, but when you're writing, yeah, burnout is a thing. It is awful. National Author Burnout Month is coming. NaNoWriMo is in November, and that's when we all burn ourselves out on purpose. So, Q, I'm sorry that you're in pain, but yay for getting discharged. And thank you for popping in. We're about to do an attempt at a recording. Hopefully between this and my phone, I'll get something good. Fingers crossed. Oh, that's not where I want to be. I want to have the things open. I started talking. I'm my father's child. I got distracted so easily by talking. But it did chill me out. So, talking about productivity sprints and that actually did chill me out a little bit. So hopefully. Alright. So let's do this. So, welcome to KatChats. This is my podcast where I document my journey through writing, either currently today or looking back, because I'm starting my podcast now and my writing journey has been going on for a while. As of next year, which will be 2022, I will have been writing, if you will, for 10 years. And my writing journey started with fanfiction. And that's what today's episode is primarily about. It's looking at my journey with fanfiction and how it gave me the confidence. In all honesty, it gave me a lot of confidence. And it also did help my writing quite a bit to get to the point that I am at today. I feel like, personally, without having posted the first fanfics that I did, I would not be as confident as I am today. And that's saying a lot considering how unconfident I am about certain things. So, let's go to, okay. So, my first fanfic was posted. I had to look this up, y'all. I used this date as a goal date as well. So, the first fanfic I ever posted, I posted it on July 12th of 2012. And so I look at that date and I'm like, that is the date that I got up the mental strength and courage to post my first fanfic. And I want to, by the 10-year anniversary of that, which will be July 12th of 2022, I want to publish a book by that date. Initially, I had a goal of publishing a book before I turned 25. I'll be turning 24 next year. So it'll be like smack dab in the middle of the year before I turn 25. So yeah, me, guys. So that first fanfic that I ever wrote was a Vampire Diaries book series fanfic. And I had been reading the Vampire Diaries book series and I really liked it. And I was just like, what if this type of thing? In the first fanfic, it was called VD Facebook, so Vampire Diaries Facebook. And it's awful. I'm gonna be honest. It is awful. You can actually, on my YouTube channel, watch me read and react to it. And just diss myself for however long the videos are. Because it's not one video, it's multiple videos. There's a playlist. So, how it was, like, formatted was it was formatted one really badly. It would have been so much better had I known how to use Photoshop. Because I did it text-based, and what it should have been was picture-based, like, look like screenshots. It probably would have been better. I think most of my problems with it are its format. I'm not gonna lie. But people are still reading this fanfic today. So I guess I did something okay. 14-year-old me, go you, I guess. But it doesn't really have a plot. It doesn't really have much. It's just kind of like, you know what? It's semi-crack fic. Yeah, that's what it is. It's crack fic. I just didn't know what that was then. It's just off the walls, whatever. But it did get me to the point where I had something out on the internet and other people that weren't me were reading it. And that was a big step. And I was 14. So it's understandable that it's kind of trash. And I'm okay with that. Because no one is ever bam good at something. Unless they're uber talented and like, what's the word? Savant? Is that the word? I hope that's the word. Unless somebody's like that. So, and writing, I don't think you can be like that. Okay, let me drink some coffee. Also, guys, if you ever wanted to read my awful, terrible fanfiction, it's under Cat Leo Writing. I changed my usernames. I used to have a different username, but I changed them on all of my fanfiction accounts. So fanfiction.net and Archive of Our Own both have Cat Leo Writing. So thanks for that. Sorry about that. I'm so glad I paused this because I took a drink of coffee and I said that, and now I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, I do now. So, but after posting that initial fanfic that was utter trash, I posted another fanfic that was not complete trash? Question mark? It actually semi had a story. And it again was Vampire Diaries, but this time for the show. So fanfiction, what drew me to it was, one, I accidentally discovered it. I don't remember how, but I accidentally fell upon it and I was like, peoples that like have these also look at characters and are like, you know what would be better, or you know what would be fun. And that's the type of thing that they kind of do with fanfic. And I had never heard of fanfiction before I accidentally stumbled upon it. I think I was looking up information about a character for some reason. Like I was just curious. I was a curious duckling. And yeah, that was great. And posting the stories, one was putting it out there. Two was getting immediate feedback. I think honestly that is truly what gave me more confidence to continue writing and to write more. Because I grew up in like a really small town, and yeah, right around then, someone who had graduated from my school published a book. And that maybe also had some influence on me. I just remembered that now. It's been so long. But I'd always liked books and reading, and fan fiction gave me something that was new but not new. Does that make sense? Something that's new but not new? In that I was able to read about characters that I was already invested in and I already loved, and I didn't have to learn about new characters and become invested in them. It's so hard for me to start watching or reading something new because I'm like, what if I don't like the characters? But I get invested in something. How do I put energy into getting invested mentally into something new? And fanfiction gave me that ability to be invested in the characters I was already invested in and to read or write new things about those characters. So, and it gave me an outlet that I didn't 100% have to create. Does that make sense to you? Because that's the thing beyond the confidence and stuff, it helps me develop my writing more rather than my creativity. I don't know if that makes sense. Somebody told me that if you're going to start doing something that makes you uncomfortable, try and make it more comfortable by involving something that you're already familiar with. And I wanted to try writing, but I didn't have like the mental strength or capacity, I guess, yet, or the confidence really, to create a character. But fan fiction gave me this, it was like a door opening moment where I could use another person's characters that I didn't have to create. They already existed. They already had things happening with them. And I could then just expand what was already there. Or two of my fanfics that I have are series rewrites. They essentially take the story that's already there and I edit a character. Like, eventually, I got, like, oh, I'm comfortable enough with this that I can make a character and insert them in this world. Some people don't like OCs. That's an original character. But it was kind of a stepping point, I guess. So, ooh, I should use that character in a book. There we go. Change them, of course. But, so, it gave me the construction blocks to create a new thing, I guess, for myself. Like, I needed building blocks to get there. It was fun, I hope. This is probably not making sense at all, and I apologize. But nothing in my brain makes sense. Y'all, this is an introduction into my brain for you, by the way. That's what you're getting. This is an intro to Kat's brain. That's how my brain functions. I'm impressed I've managed to stay on fanfiction. But first I started with, like, the characters that were given to me, the world that was given to me, and then slowly I made a fanfic, which was actually my third fanfic, that it was a one-shot. It was about 3,000 words, and it had all the characters in the world, but I changed it a little bit. I changed one character's backstory just a little bit, and it ended up being a major bit. That was not how it was initially planned, but it changed one little thing and created a fanfic. And then slowly I also started doing crossovers and having to figure out how to merge worlds, what to leave out, what to add in, type of thing. So that was like steps closer to manifesting and creating my own world for writing. And then that's when I actually started doing original characters. After I did, like, what pieces do I stick together? What pieces do I leave out? These things contradict themselves in the two worlds, so I had to figure out if I could make them work together or if those things just needed to be retconned for a fanfic. And then I ended up, now I have like this mega fanfic eventually that I want to write. That if I hadn't thought about that fanfiction, I'm not sure Shadow would exist. So one of the characters in the fanfic is an original character that I was going to use to kind of essentially make it all make sense in a weird way and throw in a whole nother universe to add it to the chaos. And I started creating this character and I liked her so much. I was like, I guess I need to go write her a book so that she can have, like, I liked this character so much that I was initially making for a fanfic that I was like, hello, entire world. Like, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if in her world that they do this? What if in their society it's like this? Like, does she know about vampires? She's a witch, so what are her powers like? Does she what about her mom? Like, what are her mom's powers? Are there other powers? Are there different types of witches in this world? Does everybody know about witches? Does everybody know about the supernatural? And it just world started to develop. And guys, it was originally supposed to be a standalone novel. There's going to be 7 novels in it that follow that one character. And then there is also Blood Rain is also in the Shadow universe. So it's like my own mental MCU, I guess. Blood Rain and Shadow are in the same world, but Blood Rain happens earlier. And then there's also another novel that I want to throw in there that hopefully is going to be a standalone, but I don't know anymore. That's also involved. So, like, the characters in my books will actually get to interact. I believe book 4 of Shadow will actually have the main character from Blood Rain in it at some point, even if it's only like a cameo. So yeah, that's kind of how fanfic got me to writing today. Mainly those little stages got me. And that was a very convoluted, weird way to give that. I could have done a better job. But you know what? That's how my brain works, so y'all have to deal with it now. If you would like more stuff from me, you can check me out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at CatLeahWriting. So yeah, or here on, I also have a Twitch where I do the live streams. So yay. That's, what did I title this, y'all? Oops. So I will definitely have to go edit that. For sure. Any questions about my fanfic stuff that's not gonna end up in that podcast? They're not very. My podcast episodes aren't going to be extremely long. In all honesty. But yeah. I'm impressed y'all sat here and listened to me ramble for that long. Yeah. I think I might actually end this live stream and then start another live stream for productivity. How does that sound? It will become slightly less pink. That's all I gotta say. Goodbye. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get the recording.